Thank you for joining us in this episode of Connection Point. We are very honored to have Dr. Bracy, the new superintendent of the Johnston County Public Schools, with us this morning. Good morning, Dr. Bracy.
Good morning. Great to be here with you today.
Well, we're honored to have you and excited to have you here. So we've got some questions that have come in from the public that we want to go over with you, and of course, anything else that you'd like to cover with us today. But first of all, the first questions are asking, where are you from and what caused your interest in education?
Well, I grew up in Halifax County, to be more specific, in Weldon, North Carolina. It's a small railroad town in the eastern part of the state, the northeastern corner of the state, probably about 6 or 7 miles from the Virginia line. So that's where I grew up originally. And my parents were both educators. My dad was a high school principal and my mother was a kindergarten teacher. Also have an older brother who is an educator as well. He's a superintendent in Virginia. And I wanted to be in this business because I saw the impact that my parents had on our small community. They knew everybody wherever we went, and everybody knew them. And people would just have such great memories of when they were my dad's students at the high school, my mom's students in the kindergarten classroom. They could just cite specific examples of things that they did throughout their schooling while they were in school to help and benefit them, and how the things that they said to them as children still resonate with them today as adults. That really moved me. It never failed when we were having dinner. Someone out in a restaurant, someone would come over to the table, say hello to them, and they would say, do you remember that time this happened? Do you remember that time that happened? And I said, wow, that's pretty powerful. So I wanted to do that. And I went to North Carolina Central in Durham, and I majored in elementary ed. So I know some superintendents have an alternate path to the superintendency. Mine was pretty traditional. I graduated in elementary ed, taught 4th grade, and then became an administrator in Vance County for 5 years. Then I moved to Durham for 5 years, and then I became a superintendent. Ironically, I became a superintendent in Northampton County, which is next door to where I grew up in Halifax County. And I have deep roots in Northampton County. Both my mother and father are originally from Northampton County. So I spent a lot of time in Northampton County as a child. My grandparents obviously lived there. That's where my church home is. So I was over there all the time. So really spent the majority of my early years in the northeastern part of the state. Just was blessed to start there as a teacher, and then to come full circle back there as a superintendent of schools was pretty awesome and pretty neat. So I'm thankful for that. But that's how I got into the field of education. I became a teacher because I wanted to be like my mom. She was just a great teacher, had a skill like no one else of teaching students how to read, and she took pride in that. And if she had the overwhelming majority of her students reading, at the end of the year, she considered herself successful. And I became an administrator for one reason and one reason alone. I wanted to be like my father, to set an environment and select personnel that could help move students academically. And my dad's 87 now, and he calls me most days to ask me how my day is going. And he always tells me to remember why I'm here, to help move students academically and so they can academically perform. So I'm appreciative of the support that he still gives me.
What a wonderful story, and to have mentors that are your parents, that's just phenomenal. And we're so excited to have you and your passion here in Johnston County. What attracted you to Johnston County?
I think it's a great area in the state. And I remember when I was working in Durham specifically, Johnston County was up there as one of the highest performing districts in the state, and just a district that great, innovative and very creative things were taking place in. And I wanted to be a part of that again, because I have no question that we will once again be up there with the highest performing districts in North Carolina. And the potential of Johnston County really attracted me to it because Johnston County has performed at a high level academically before. And I think the same pieces are in place for us to perform high academically again. And you just hear about the great community support here in Johnston County. And it's just a great place to raise a family. And I'm a father of three. I have three daughters. My oldest is, well, she wants to get to UNC Charlotte to start her freshman year. She got some bad news a couple of days ago that she's not going to get there till at least the 1st of October if she gets there at all this semester. We're certainly hoping and praying that she will. I have a middle daughter who's a junior in high school and a younger daughter who is an 8th grader in high school as well. And it was important for me to put my girls in an environment of wonderful, great family values, just a great place to live and grow and prosper. And also wanted my wife to be in a great school system where she can continue to grow and prosper as a teacher as well. My wife's a kindergarten teacher.
Wonderful. So the teaching continues. I have to ask, is your daughter going to major in education?
She said no, she wants to be a nurse. So hopefully out of the three, one of them will follow in their parents' and grandparents' footsteps. I'm hopeful.
All right. Next question up. So folks want to know, what's your favorite pastime outside of work?
Boy, I tell you, since I've been here, it's been pretty much work. But things I do like to do, I love to exercise. I generally get up and run a few miles each morning. I love to read. I'm an avid reader as well. I love to play golf, but I play it at such a poor level that I normally don't admit that I play golf because I'm so bad. You're in that club too?
I'm in that club, yeah.
Absolutely. Love to watch sports. I'm a huge fan of the Dallas Cowboys, so this is my favorite time of year that's about to start, football season. But and when I'm not doing any of those things, my favorite thing to do is just hang out with the family. Go out to eat, walk through a mall, just go outside and spend some time together. Love doing those things. But right now it's been pretty much work because of everything that we're working through as far as the pandemic is concerned.
Yep. I would say you came in at one of the most busiest times we've ever seen. So we appreciate the effort.
Absolutely.
So anything else you'd like to tell the public about yourself?
Yeah, I consider myself, and I think people that have worked with me before in my past several years as a superintendent will tell you I'm a people person, and I love to meet people. And one of the most frustrating parts of where we are as a society right now is I'm sort of confined to the office because the world hasn't really opened up because of the pandemic that we're dealing with. But I love to go out and meet people. I love to go into schools and interact with teachers, instructional support people, clerical people, custodians, and just talk to them and learn about them. And I love going in classrooms where watching teachers teach and students learn. It's one of my favorite things about the job. I consider myself not to be an office superintendent, but I'm in the schools, in the community superintendent. And I say all that to say to people that I'm a very busy person, but if you see me, please come up and say hello and tell me who you are, what you do in the school system, what you do in the community if you have kids in the school system. Because I love interacting with people and learning about them and learning more about our school system. So I'm extremely busy, but I'm never too busy to interact with someone from our community. I'll say that. And that's been the most frustrating part. People aren't out and about and in schools as they normally would. So I miss that. And I can't wait till that happens again and everything opens up for us.
Well, hopefully we see that starting soon for sure. A couple other questions here. So over the next 3 months, what are your top 3 focuses as you kind of dig in?
So, well, I would say focus number 1 is see what we can do about getting our students safely back in our schools. That's what every superintendent in the nation who is not in school right now, face to face, is focused on doing. I would say to add to that, until we get back to school, is to be as proficient with virtual learning as we can be. And our teachers are working hard. I want to emphasize to everybody that I've been in schools, I've met some students virtually, and our teachers are working very, very hard at the virtual learning, and they're getting better each day. So I really want to get out and about and learn ways that I can support our teachers and our administrators and see, okay, we've done this for a couple to 3 weeks. What are some additional resources that I, as a superintendent or our Board of Education, can give you to help you get better at virtual teaching? Because that is our mode of teaching for the most part right now. So I really want to get better at that. I mentioned earlier about meeting people. I just want to interact and meet people in the community as often and as fast as I can, so they see my name, and I want them to be able to put a name with the face. So when they see me about, they come up and have a conversation with me. And I would lastly say to focus and see ways that we can improve academically and increase our student achievement and performance of our schools at a higher rate than they are right now. I think everybody would agree that our schools aren't performing at the level that we all want them to, and aren't performing at the level that we all think we're capable of performing. And we will improve in those areas. I have no doubts about that, because the teachers that I've seen teaching virtually, they're giving it their all, and our principals have understood from my conversations with them my philosophy about the importance of accountability and the importance of increasing our student achievement. You know, we have some low performing schools that we want to get off that list, and that's really a focus of mine, to get those students off that list.
Well, and actually that leads us to another question that we got is any specific plans to help improve the performance of our schools, especially along the 95 corridor that seem to have struggled over the recent years?
So, well, we have to look at our data, look at our performance of those schools, and see what strategies we can offer to help those teachers get those results up. I'm very big, and you'll hear me say a couple of things a lot as I make my way around the district. I believe in rigor, teachers teaching our students rigorously. And I also believe in students teaching our students from bell to bell. I'm a big believer in maximizing all of the time that you have students in front of you as a teacher. So we got to do that. We got to study our data to see what our weaknesses are. And then when we get our weaknesses, teach our students to be proficient or to perform better in the areas that they're struggling with. We have to do that. And I'm not saying they haven't done that before, but all leaders are different, and all leaders have a skill set that is unique to improving student achievement. So I feel good about the approach that we're going to take to help those students perform better, and which will in turn help those schools perform better. I'm also going to be looking at the alignment of our district office to make sure that we're offering those schools the support that they need to be successful. And that's where we come into, we talk about equity. I have to make sure that those schools and those students along the I-95 corridor are getting all the resources that they need as schools to be successful. And that's my responsibility. It starts with me to make sure that they're getting the resources that they need. They may need to get some extra resources that other schools aren't giving. There have been examples in other school systems, schools that have been struggling, or schools that are that deal with challenging demographics, have called those schools Equity Plus schools, where they get a few more additional resources or a few more additional positions than other schools to get. So we have to analyze all of that and make sure we're getting those schools what they need to be successful.
Very good, very good. I know our foundation is working now on the CubeSat program, that it'll be launched at Triple S here. So we're excited to help those young folks build a satellite and put it into orbit, and that's happening right here in Johnston County. So, the last question I have for today is, how can the business community support you and our schools?
Wow, in so many ways, in several ways. First of all, it's always great when the business community sort of adopts a school that's close to them or near and dear to their heart. And when you're talking about elementary schools, something as simple as providing tutors to come in and work with students, coming in and reading to students in groups, using the resources as business leaders to enhance our personnel in any way. Something as simple as when we talk about in high schools is to provide adult role models for students in those various schools as well. There's so many things. I've seen it as far as providing scholarships to students that are in high schools that are potentially going to college. We can do that as well. It's wide open with that in ways that they can support. But I think one of the biggest ways you can support is just to make your presence felt and let the schools know you are part of our community and we're here to support you and help you in any way possible. In other words, make your presence felt in those schools.
Yep. Well, and the Triangle East Chamber is absolutely focused on that. Actually, we just added every one of your schools into our membership base.
Right.
And that way we're communicating and they can communicate back to us their needs, and we're standing ready to help you in any way we can, for sure.
Another thing I was going to say, in other districts, some business community folks have offered something as simple as coming in and providing duty-free lunch for teachers. Just means the world to them that they can get that break for a week or a few days, something as simple as that. It doesn't cost anything but time to anyone. Just come in, hey, I'll watch these kids for you while you go and eat at your desk or things like that. So there are many ways that we can connect and help support our schools. And we certainly appreciate your foundation and the business community for being such strong advocates for Johnston County Public Schools. We're really appreciative of that.
Well, and we're glad to do it for sure. So any final words today?
Hey, I really appreciate you interviewing me today and giving me this platform. I want everybody to know that we're working day and night to improve our school system, and we're going to give it our all, and we have no doubts that we will improve as a school system in short order. So we ask for support, we ask for input, we ask for patience, but we're working hard and we will get there. I don't have any doubts about that. And I'm so excited to be here. I'm happy to be here. I had someone that I met the other day at the gas station. They asked me, well, with all the things happening with COVID, do you have any regrets about coming here? Are you discouraged? I said, no. If anything, I'm encouraged from the people that I've met in this community who are rooting for us as a school system. It fuels me and helps me get up in the morning, and it motivates me as I walk in this office every day. That we're going through tough times as a country right now, and as school systems all over the country are going through tough times, but we are working hard and we're going to get our district where we want it to be and where everybody wants it to be.
All right. Well, thank you, Dr. Bracy. Anything we can be doing for you, we're only a phone call away, and we wish you the best of luck. And thank you for choosing Johnston County and being here for us.
Thank you. Really appreciate the time. Enjoy being with you today.
Thank you. You have a great one.